Okay, so because I don't edit, I'm going to apologize one more time for some of my intros. I know you YouTubers are used to some bright lights and people leaping around and somebody looking at the camera and telling you what kind of a nice day it is. I move from room to room and I plug the thing in, and sometimes my turn on buttons and stuff are a ways away. So here's where we're set up. I'm just going to start wheeling in here, looking at my present. Oh, there's something. I have a tendency to get distracted by shiny objects or by changes. This is something you might notice. This is a continuation. I promised you I was going to show every shot, warts, feathers, and all, as I build this stuff and go through. And the failures, the successes, the whatever. One of the things you'll notice in the videos just prior to this is I'm loading and shooting out this window, all right? This is my range window. Oh, I'll take a shot out the range window. There's one flag out there spinning merrily. I'm thinking about shooting today. Oh, well, it ain't spinning now. It might be going to settle down to be a good day. So, there's I'm stepping up my program. I'm going to have one, whoa! Just about tip this thing over. And have one flag flying. So anyway, I just noticed one of the things that's changed here. You'll notice that when I was loading, I have probably 20 of these. I set them up for everything. This one's marked PPC. It's something I use on the field when I'm working uploads at the range. And now I just got my range house back, so I'm using them right here. But in the meantime, I've bolted up. I'm setting up my range box for going on with it. This is actually the way I set it up. These parts come off, ploop, go inside. This is a crap box. It's a Kennedy box, and the thing I don't like about it is the fact that the way the handle is set up, it's possible to lift it up and just dump stuff all over the place. That's not good. So the lock, it's an old cheap box I built when I was in gunsmithing, or I bought. Was one of the required items in gunsmithing school back in, I don't know, 1980. I still use it, and it's set up with all of my portable reloading tools in it. So this stuff goes away. This is a good Harrow Precision. This is a good, I believe this is a Harrow Precision too. This is what I actually use. And the reason I did it, I've got my PPC die in there, is because on the last go around with the thing, which we're going to talk about today, I'm on my 5th or 6th barrel, and I've been slamming them out. I didn't get a perfect match. I've got about a quarter a thou, half a thou difference. And this one was getting down. These presses, the downside to this press is it's a fine maintenance press, and you can use it for one cartridge all the way up to 330 at LAPO. It doesn't matter. But when you start having to bump shoulders around, this little press, as handy as it can be, does tend to start to flex. This, on the other hand, is a machined billet press, and I figured I'm just going to drag it out of the box, set it up. The reason is, remember, I've been doing all this work with 3 cases, 3 reject cases, and I've documented the different barrels, the different stocks, the different groups, the different things. I'm down to probably test number 5 on this thing, in which I'm documenting the second barrel in this red and gray stock, and this is going to be the barrel with a pull down screw in the recoil lug. I'm using this pull down screw, the action one, and then I have one in the recoil lug. I was going to go through, I'm still kind of planning on it, but I kind of skipped a few steps because we'll talk about that here in a minute. This is also a continuation of documentation on this left-handed cheesy wimpy stock shooting a huge 338. But I digress. Point is, I got to about my 5th barrel, and those old cases were starting to get, they're probably laying right here. I don't know where they are. They're somewhere here. So I brought this out because I was starting to fight. You'll notice on my last video, I actually show myself videoing a group that you haven't even seen yet. I'm pushing the bolt handle down. It's not smooth. The shoulders, well, these cases have been fired 30 times, repeatedly in 4 different chambers, or 5 at this point. I lose track. It's all on here, so you can add it up if you want. Getting sticky, getting clicky, hate the click. And it's easy for me to adjust the click. Oh, there's my 3 rounds right here. These are the rounds, they're loaded up and ready to go for the next test. Okay? But these 3 cases right over here, in my lumpty bump. But, I put this press up. And understand, this is another of these informational videos. This is for helping people out maybe that are fighting stuff, whatever. If you're bored by me going off in a bunch of different areas, just by all means go out somebody, I don't know, chase elephants around. I put this press up because this press has no flex. This press, tunk, I can pop that shoulder back hard. Now I don't kneel. I'm not against the kneeling. I just choose not to. Now, if I didn't have the fitted dies, the ability to fit dies, and the knowledge of dies, I would have kneeled, period. Anybody out there who has to deal with poorly fitted dies or off-the-shelf dies or dies from somebody else or dies that doesn't understand us, by all means, a kneel. Buy yourself an amp or something. Get something good so that a kneeling doesn't become a pain. I don't have to kneel. I can bump my shoulders to where I need to be. So that's why this press is up. I don't know why I went there. I guess because I'm rolling in here. And figured I would see if I can get set up in such a way that we can see and talk. I need to be able to stand to the side and show you what this is another, this is going to be a follow-up vid to the one I just did. Totally different set of targets. I ripped down the ones that were set. Now there's a whole nother set down there on the range, which I'm pointing this way because I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing all my targets down there. I've got another whole barrage going. I'm starting to shoot, people. I'm starting to test some of this crap that I'm putting together. So, I'm going to start by showing you where we're at, instead of talking about the targets downrange. Where we left off on the last video, I had just tested Thing in this, well, I don't know why I'm holding it like that, in this stock with the single screw, and the groups, if I remember right, were in here. I shot a bunch of them and it was stupid. So I went to the screw and then a screw and a pull down recoil lug, and I was going to do a whole thing. Right now I've got this bedded, I don't know if you can see it, but it's bedded for just 1/8 of an inch in front of the recoil lug. Get some. Getting a lot of colors in here now, as you can see. This latest color is kind of a gray, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I went out and shot it with 2 screws. Didn't ever show you those groups, but this is them. Again, I forgot to move one, so there's 6 in there. 3. I think I bumped a little bit on powder charges here, but the bottom line is, this is broken. This is no good. Right out of the box, I say this over and over and over, if your gun does not shoot groups smaller than, I mean, I guess something like this single group right here, which we'll get to later, I maybe would continue, but I've learned through when I get groups like this, this is done, this is done, this experiment is over. Don't dink around with this. And when it comes to measuring things, again, I'm going to go off and digress, because this is frustrating to me. I watched a video yesterday because I'm checking out videoing techniques. I'm trying to make these videos more enjoyable for you. So I'm watching this guy and I just clicked on some accuracy. Here's somebody at 100 yards shooting a 30 caliber at shoot and see targets. They splatter out a turd this big with a 30 caliber bullet. And he's rating and evaluating his groups on a shoot and see target. And I about vomited. I'm like, dude, the last time I shot a shoot and see was at 500 yards. Somebody brought one and stuck it out and said, go over and shoot a group on my target so that I can see how big my groups are. And I said, no, that would be stupid. You're not even going to see it. So anyway, I shot 5 rounds at 500 yards into a shoot and see, and of course it just left a seagull turd. There was no wind. It was, well, just enough wind. It was a good day. He's shooting at steel and he's looking at his shots and all that. That's not accuracy, people. That's just plinking. That's not, if you can see individual shots on the steel at 400 or 500 yards, that's not accuracy. If you can shoot at a shoot and see target, as you can see here, there's nothing, let's just start with the fact there's nothing on here worth keeping. These guns are destroyed. This was done right after the last accuracy testing. I'm going to probably put these up just a few days apart so you can look at the one, see a couple of guns that aren't broken, then come to this. But I'll break this down as to where we're at. This was Thing. Again, in this stock, and if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, I'm just free banging this. I need to go edit it all back together. I'm trying to learn how to do that, make something that's more fun to watch. After this, I had 3 more tests I was going to do. I was going to try the next hole, I was going to try 3 screws, I just decided, you know, life is short and then you die. I can do this forever, and it's just, this isn't coming together. There's not a chance here. So, I bedded it full length. I'm done. So we're going to skip some tests. Right now, this thing is bedded all the way back, and I just installed a rear pillar. And I haven't put a trigger guard yet. I've still got to do that yet. But this is where we're at. We're skipping ahead with the Thing project. This is no good. This is a 6 PPC. Everything should be into a group that big to start. This group right here is broken, let alone these really nasty ones. I've convinced myself of things for too long, for too stupid. Oh, and by the way, I switched the barrel, of course, still have the scope on it. This is shot barrel number 2 on the Thing, boom. I moved up and decided to run. I had this whole paper to use up. Well, there's times when I can shoot 40 or 50 groups on a paper like this. And there's times when everything blows up like a shotgun blast and I wreck the paper. So bottom line is I felt I was done here. There was nowhere to put together another meaningful test. So I tore them down. I've got a whole other set down there. But these are 6 PPC groups. They're not groups. They're shotgun blasts. They're broken. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups there, which is a waste of a good barrel. That test is over. We have now taken that stock, bedded it full length like my Thing 2 stock, which shoots fine. And the next time you see that thing shooting, boo. Now we move down to here. This is my monster hog. What I'm calling a 338 Hellbringer. I've been trying to, had it screwed on to a left-handed action. This is a left-handed action by, I believe, MPI. Because I had a Bartline 9.3 that was pretty heavy and I could get it to balance up here so that I could avoid the scrotum. You're supposed to carry a gun right here, right in this area. Whoops, you're supposed to carry a gun right here in this. I'm sorry, I got this so high. But instead, I put a heavy barrel on. I'm trying to build this. I bed it all the way up to here. I've gone through all this stuff. Then I relieved back to here. It's bedded all the way through. Everything on here is fine. This gun should shoot. It doesn't. But I made up, boy, how do I go through this? This is the first time that you've seen this one shoot. I made up some cases. I think I might have talked about making up the cases. These happen to be 80G cases, and I was running them through the paces. So I put one in. And it went right here, and 90 grains was so low on pressure that I didn't even worry about it. I switched over and I did more and more and more and more. And I got up to my working range. I ended up deciding on 96 grains and I started to shoot. And I don't remember if I think for some reason I went here and here, and then I went over here and here. Or maybe I went here and here and here and here. It's all documented. And I was going to do a whole thing on it. This is where I held, this was here the whole time, by the way. I shot these with it. Then I moved down, started working around here. But this is broken. This is trash. And this is my second or third go around with this gun. I've done some extra bedding on it. I've tried 80G brass. I used 3 cases of that, did a bunch of this. I tried 300 RUM Remington cases. I tried a different scope. I can't remember what. Oh, I just threw a scope on there. I didn't even try to center it up. I don't know where this gun's centered up. See, when I'm building guns slowly, I bring everything to center line, and then I put the scope in a box with V-grooves in it, and I run it to center, and I spin it, and I run it to center, and I check it against itself mechanically, and then I spin it in the box, which might make sense to some people. And mechanical center should get me in here. Anyway, I'm on here. I moved over, was deciding where I was going to start my groups. Got up to here, same crap. without going through a huge digression, I'm saying the 330 is gone. The reason it's out of this stock is because it's gone. It is now, the whole assembly is being tested in something, not being tested, I haven't even shot it yet. This is the same barrel. Now, I'm going to give you a testament to KELBLY's. I don't know if this is normal or not, but this barrel, documented in other videos, I need to back this up. This barrel it's not like a mirror. This barrel has been in this assembly, this left-handed gun, a left-handed Atlas. I'm convinced from firing, I don't know, 15 groups, whatever groups are out there, I haven't even looked at them, it's never shot good. I'm retiring this stock. I'm going to build it, take that left-handed action, put something lighter on it. I'm going to put on a tested and proven 300 WSM reamer and see if I can make the stock shoot. If I can make the stock shoot quarter minute in a 300 WSM, I'm going to paint it up and send it down the road. At this point, I think this stock is too wimpy. So I went to, this doesn't look like a very fancy stock, but this is a $700 and some stock out of Macmillan with all the good stuff in it. This is a build that I do quite a bit. It's a right-handed Atlas. And the reason it's, and I'm putting a little 4.5 to 14 scope on it. I believe it's 4.5 to 14. I don't know. This is going to be the next thing we're shooting. But the reason this is interesting, the reason I brought it out, is not for any other reason than that if you look, the action is open, see if I can get it lined up here. This muzzle brake has got flats on it. I might have to go into manual. I'm bragging on the KELBLY's a little bit here because I took this barrel off of that other left-handed action. I stuck it in the barrel vise. I cranked it up to 150 foot-pounds in this other Atlas tactical action. Now I have to be careful what I say and how I say it here. But let's just say that it headspaced and timed to within 2 or 3 degrees of that other left-handed action. Now I have a hard time believing that their setup allows them to start the threads at the same place on both left-handed and right-handed action, so maybe this is pure luck. I expected this to headspace or to tighten in somewhere else. I took this barrel off. You'll never see it on the left-handed gun again. I think it's too big for the left-handed gun. So I took the barrel off and I forthwith walked over, screwed it into, just screwed it right into another untouched Atlas action that's never been anything before. I grabbed this stock off the rack. This isn't bedded. All I did was bolt it together to show you how that barrel timed out. I timed this thing up, 150 foot-pounds, got out and looked, and that muzzle brake with flats top and bottom is sitting there just a tiny fuzz off. I affixed this muzzle brake. I'm pointing over here out of camera, and I know all that. But I affixed this muzzle brake using Rocksett. The trick with Rocksett, I'm not that great with the stuff, I don't know, but I've done a dozen things with it. The trick with Rocksett is when you have to re-index or take something off, you leave it soak in water overnight. Now I'm going to try this time soaking the tip of this barrel in hot water and see if that makes it quicker. Stand it up in a jug of water overnight and then that thing will screw off. Now it's torqued on there. That muzzle brake is torqued on there with a pretty good amount of torque. I set my muzzle brakes so that they index on 3 points. First of all, the end of the brake, that's a bunch of things. Let's just talk about muzzle brakes for a second. The important thing about muzzle brakes, I should just bring this up to where you can see it, because I believe this is important. See the muzzle in there? I like to put on a muzzle brake so that I can clean my muzzle, so that I can inspect my muzzle, so that I can see my muzzle. This muzzle brake is timed to fuzz off now, so I'm going to take it, and this video has gone all over the place, I understand that, but that's what it's about, that's what I do. It's tightened down tightly enough that I have a few degrees I can play with and still be in the 30, 40 foot-pound range, and with Rocksett that should be fine. So I'm going to back this off of fuzz, straighten it out, But one of the next things you're going to be seeing on the big 338 project, trying a whole new assembly, a whole new stock, a whole new everything.